inside the stories that affect you. This is Inside KELOLAND.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Solik. The 2024 general election was just under 2 weeks ago, and with it came a lot of shakeups in the world of politics. Those changes don't just come in the form of who will be the next president. They also change who will lead our state government and what new laws will take effect. On today's Inside KELOLAND, we're going to be sitting down with the new executive leadership in both the South Dakota House and Senate. Each person is new to the position they hold, some of them new to the chamber they're leading. To make this conversation a little more manageable, we are going to split this all up into a few different segments and by legislative chamber. We're going to start with the executive leadership for both parties in the House of Representatives. Joining us now in studio is Democratic Representative Erin Healy, the minority leader. Over Zoom, we have Republican Representative Scott Odenbach, the majority leader. Representatives, thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Great to be here.
All right, to get things started, I guess, how do you think the recent election went overall? We'll start with you, Representative Odenbach.
Well, thank you. I think the election went great overall. Obviously, as a Republican, it's exciting to see what appears to really be a mandate for President Trump. We've got two South Dakotans in high leadership positions now in Washington, D.C., and I feel like here at home we dodged a bullet in large part with the ballot measures that failed to pass. So overall, I'm hopeful, and I like the outcome.
And Representative Healy, how are you feeling about the election?
Yeah, the election was a little bit more difficult for Democrats. Obviously, we did lose our Vice President Harris. On a local level, there were some ballot initiatives that did fail that I thought were disappointing, and then others that passed that I thought were disappointing.
And you are both new to your position. Now, what does that mean for your parties in the House, Representative Healy?
Yeah, I think that means that it's a new opportunity for leadership to really dive deep into the issues that matter to South Dakotans. I served as assistant minority leader last year, and I was able to watch leadership both in the House and the Senate really care about our constituents and speak loudly, especially being a minority, about the issues that we care most about. There's just a few of us out there in Pierre, and we truly need to hold true to our voice in order to make Democrats feel like they're being heard.
And Representative Odenbach, what do you think this means for your party?
Well, I think it's exciting, and I think it means that our system of citizen representation is working as intended. I think we're meant to have a government that is of a size that new people can come in, citizens can come in, whether they've got years and years of experience or not, and be a part of governing.
Representative Odenbach, you are taking over for Will Mortensen. Why did your party pick you over him this session?
Well, that's a great question. When you've got, we have 64 members. We have the largest caucus, I think, that we've ever had as Republicans. And, I'd like to leave, the analysis, I guess, to you guys for why that happened. I mean, we've always had contested leadership elections. And, there was a lot of things that happened in the last session. Obviously, the carbon pipelines was a big issue that roiled the state. There's a lot of new people that came in and overall our caucus was seeking new leadership.
Representative Healy, there are only a few Democrats in the House. Do you think your party will be able to work with Republicans this session, specifically newly selected Speaker of the House, Jon Hansen?
Yeah, well, there are only a few Democrats in the legislature, and unfortunately, we did lose two more. But we're a small and mighty group, and we are very resistant, and we're very resilient. Yes, we'll be able to work with the speaker. We're able to work with everybody. I think that as Democrats, we're able to find commonalities with all of the Republicans in the legislature. It just depends on the issue.
And now turning to some of your priorities for the upcoming session, Representative Odenbach, what are you looking forward to?
Well, in large part, I still need to get my arms around the consensus of our caucus with that many members, and we just had our caucus elections. My top priority is really getting with them once we've had an opportunity to do so, and that's our job as majority leader, my job to distill that consensus. But I think, anybody that's been talking to people around the state and ran and won in this election knows that we're probably likely to see bills dealing with things like property taxes, which is a huge issue throughout the state. I think you're likely to see bills regarding education innovation. and parental choice. I think you're likely to see things dealing with eminent domain. As I said, the issue of carbon pipelines has been a big one. It's not going away, most likely. So those are, three big things that I'd say we should be watching for.
Representative Healy, what are you focused on for the upcoming session?
Yeah, I think we need to really be focused on funding public education. We know that that's been a priority over the years. And as Representative Odenbach mentioned, there have been discussions about where parents can send their kids to school. I still think it's really important that we focus on our public schools because that really is the cornerstone of our workforce and as citizens of our state.
Quickly, we wanted to take a look at some national news too. What is your reaction to Governor Noem's appointment to Trump's cabinet and Larry Roden taking the role of governor, Representative Odenbach?
Well, I think anybody that's worked closely and knows Governor Noem well, I guess knows that she's tough. And with her running DHS, I would give some advice to people here illegally, and that would be to start thinking of ways to self-deport.
And Representative Healy?
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see our governor leave our state in order to go serve as secretary. But I do really welcome Lieutenant Governor Roden in his position. I know that he has been a person who served our state in many different positions and many different elected official positions. And he's somebody who has always been willing to work with everybody in the legislature, regardless of party. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can work together.
Great. Well, Representatives, thank you both for joining us. Coming up after the break, we'll talk with the executive leadership in the Senate.